We're back. We're doing another one. It is Talkie Walkie, and I'm not in New York. I'm not in the Midwest. I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. My first time doing comedy in Baltimore is this weekend. I'm at the Fort Comedy Club, and I'm here with one of my favorite comedians in New York, New Jersey. It's Brett Druck.
We're in Texas.
We're in Baltimore.
Oh.
So we have two shows tonight, so I thought we would just walk around the area that we're in and do and explore, because I don't think I've ever been to Baltimore before. Have you been to Baltimore before?
Many times.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you can maybe show me what's good. There is a Orioles game today.
Certainly it wouldn't be me showing you what's good if I were to take you to an Orioles game.
No.
That's not an insult on Orioles. I just don't like baseball.
Yeah, this is a nice area though.
Well, every time I'm here, it's like show, hotel, and then leave. So I have nothing to tell you other than old day.
So we're kind of exploring it together then for the first time. That's very cool. So, Brett.
Yeah.
We met doing the Andy Kaufman Award.
That's right.
And I thought you were so funny. You were, back then when I first met you, you were playing the guitar and doing some jokes a little bit. I was singing jokes, but I didn't really know how to play the guitar. But it was good. It was really, really funny.
It was cool. Yeah, it was fun. But I just, you know what it is? When I went and I did Just for Left Chicago.
Oh!
I realized, because I was only like 2-3 years in at that point.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, I realized I can't, with this alt act, I don't know how to adapt to a crowd if they're not feeling it. And then I was like, I gotta, even though I had built up this strong 6 minutes kind of alt, I was like, I gotta start over. And then I just got rid of the alt stuff and I started bombing. And then
you got rid of the alt stuff?
Yeah, I stopped playing the guitar and I just got rid of those jokes and I started I just started from scratch.
Can I have those jokes? Those were such good jokes.
What, do you remember any of them?
No, but I know that. Yeah, I think you still do. You do any of those jokes anymore? Maybe the one with the handshake and the.
Yeah, but I don't think I sang that one.
No, you didn't sing. Oh, I see what you're saying. So the ones that you sang, you don't do anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one about a muffin.
Oh yeah, that one. That's the only one that
I think I missed. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. But you just can't. You need the weird tension of the guitar.
Yeah. Do you remember how the joke went?
Yeah, it was like, chord, if you ever steal someone's muffin, chord, and they ask you what you're eating, chord, and you're gonna say nothing, chord, you should wait till you're finished chewing, chord, because if you aren't finished chewing, chord, your answer will come out, chord, muffin. Did I say and you're gonna say nothing? Did I say that in the part? That's an important part. I don't know if I had said that.
I don't know, but yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So the idea is if you steal somebody's muffin, you grab it.
It's loud.
You steal somebody's muffin, you're eating it, they go, what are you eating? And your answer's gonna be nothing, but because your mouth is full, you just still say muffin.
I think that's funny. I think it's even better that you explained it afterwards too.
Well, I was afraid I fucked up the,
no, you didn't.
I missed part of it. It's been a long time since I reiterated that.
Hey, look, we're content brothers.
Oh yeah, do you want to do some camera on camera?
Camera on camera.
Then you can get in that Pornhub category.
Is that a
cam on cam? Oh yeah, dude, that's trending right now.
I'm not into that. That's not in my top search.
Just wait till you see one video, you'll be in that algorithm.
Exciting. So then you threw away all your alty stuff. Was that hard to do because it was so funny and it was killing?
At first it was, but I knew, this is also right around the time where Bill Burr was kind of shitting on alt comics, and I kind of agreed with him.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to be a club comic. I didn't want to do a lot of alt rooms.
Hey, can you explain to the difference for people watching who might not know the differences between a club comic and an alt room? A club comic is really, they can kill in pretty much any situation. That's the idea, is that you're just appealing to like the mass population, the general public. But alt is a little bit more for comedy, people who are used to comedy and they like variation from what you would normally hear in a lot of jokes. And so they're going a lot of times from, a club comic's probably going A to C, and an alt comic is going A to D. It's like David Cross is like, you know, that is like, he's considered an alt comic. Yeah, yeah. David Cross, like Reggie Watts.
Yeah,
like
it's an alternative to the mainstream of comedy, but I do enjoy it, but it's such a small market, and it works so well with certain crowds. But
you're such a good alt comic though.
All right, relax, okay.
By the way, it is so hot.
Yeah, it is. What is it right now? Let me see.
It's got to be 90s. Yeah, it's got to be.
The humidity in Baltimore
is the hottest talkie walkie I've ever done.
Yeah, me too.
Whoa.
Okay.
Look at those boats, dude.
You should probably show the stuff that you keep pointing out.
Well, I'm gonna. But there's like all those like military boats.
Do you remember this crab from The Wire?
No, I only saw one half episode of The Wire.
Yeah, I've only seen a season. I don't think that's in it.
Oh, Apple. Oh, Apple. Guess what Apple says?
What?
88. But the feels like is 95.
That's with humidity.
All right, Captain Science.
I don't know if that's science.
So now you're doing more of less alty stuff, more club stuff, more club.
I've performed in every state except for Hawaii and Alaska, and I haven't had to.
Those are my favorite states to perform in.
Fuck! I haven't had to alter my material in any way because I've built an act that is speaking to just what it is to be a person instead of, a play on something very specific and niche. You're kind of doing the same thing now, aren't you?
Yeah,
you have been for the last few years. So you're like, I don't want to do my variety act.
Yeah, that's very true. And I love it. I love just going to clubs, and I don't have to worry about ceiling height. And I don't have to.
Oh, that was the other thing. That was a huge thing. I was like, I don't like having to bring a guitar. I don't like having to tune it.
Yeah.
And I also don't really know how to play it. So I was like, so much to look around.
Yeah.
I'm not even good. And then people would always be like, oh, you're a guitar comic. Can you come to like play a song here? I'm like, no.
Yeah. I don't know how to play any songs. I know how to, and I even tried to like incorporate a guitar into my act for like a month. I never did it, but I was like practicing something. And I was like, I can't bring more stuff. I just can't bring more stuff. It just doesn't, yeah. So it is nice just to be able to know that all you need is a mic.
Absolutely.
All I need is one mic.
I don't think there's any, other than maybe like street performers, like a mime or something, like most performances are going to require so much setup, music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the stand-up is like so great, especially like when you go to a venue and there's a sound guy.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you need? You're like, just a microphone. They're like, really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
With that being said, though, you need a lot of other certain things to be right for comedy to work in the venue.
Yes, but for what you need to bring there,
yes,
it's easy.
But for the venue,
yeah, okay,
they have
we're having two different conversations
too.
I totally agree.
Right. So why are we fighting?
I don't know.
No, I think that's right. I think it's good to have. Oh, I don't know why I get so embarrassed when I walk by people. They like stop talking so we don't.
Well,
so
yeah,
don't hear.
And that woman smiled at you, so.
I know. She probably recognized me.
Yeah.
She was probably at the show last night.
No, we would recognize her then.
There was a good turnout.
Yeah, it was fun. They're great.
Really fun. I think this is like a famous like Baltimore like East Coast vibe, right? Like the viney walls on the bricks behind us.
Sure.
Very like New England, right?
That's a different place.
All right. It's early. I took an edible last night and it has not worn off.
Do you remember our conversation about you saying that you don't really need to brush your teeth?
Yeah. I still think that's kind of true because.
What was your argument?
Well, it was just like, how did they use? You're like, I'm gonna go brush my teeth or something, and I was like, I don't think you have to do that. And you're like, yeah, you do. Otherwise, your teeth would rot and fall out. And I was like, well, but back in the day when they didn't have toothpaste, what do they do? Then do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I said they died at 32 from infection.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, time to brush. I brushed twice. But I'm already older than 32, so haha.
Yeah, so you can stop brushing your teeth.
Exactly. Lived a full life. Full life, I love it. Here we go. We are walking on, if you know Baltimore, we're on South Ann and Fell Street, right by the water. Again, we're just doing circles.
Yeah, so this has got to be the market.
This is it over here. All right. Wow, this is so cool.
Should I be walking closer to you or something?
You can if you want. It's a wider shot than what it
looks
like.
Oh, right. Have you ever done one where somebody walks behind you?
I have, and it's just that it always kind of looks like I'm walking in front of someone most times because I like to hold the selfie stick out.
Did you ever do one like this?
No, we can't. See how long we can keep that going. Douche. All right, so what else?
Ask me something really serious. Ask me when my mom died.
No. All right, everyone, that was Brett Druck.
What's a life ring?
What? Oh, okay, so a life
ring.
ring.
If somebody's drowning, you open this, you throw them it.
Yeah.
You propose.
For life, here's the ring. Yeah, who knows? I don't know, man. First time in Baltimore. It's nice.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
They must have a lot of drownings. Have one right
it was
there.
confusing because there was a photo of a horse on the life ring. So is it for a horse?
Yeah. They have a lot of drowning horses.
Dang.
So much that they needed to put in a flotation device.
Yeah. That guy just walked by, and I don't know if he was talking about us or not, but I heard him say, "Fucking nerds." And I hope so badly he was talking about us.
I don't know. I would say if I saw somebody with a GoPro walking and like filming themselves with a selfie stick, I wouldn't call them nerds. I would call them losers.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
So probably wasn't badass.
Okay.
Unless you saw the show last night, then it would be appropriate.
I think it's so funny, just people just like getting upset from what we're doing, just being like, "You guys suck." Just walk down the street, people boo us. I'm just creating content.
There's the ice cream.
Oh yeah,
there's the farmer's
market. Now we're talking.
Produce.
This is where the club is that we're performing at, and there's it's like a cool little area.
Yeah.
Last night it turned into like a little bit of an Armageddon. It was just like
after the late show it changes.
After the late show it
from
was
cute to a little scary.
Yeah. A lot of people drinking, a lot of police around.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Everyone's pretty nice.
Yeah. I think she wanted to pitch something at us, but then she realized that we had a camera.
Yeah. I ain't stopping. All right. So this is the farmer's market. Heck yeah. All right.
Hot donuts. Can't imagine something worse right now.
Oh yeah. There's a line though.
Oh, there's your name. Your name in chalk.
Look at that.
Or some kind of marker.
It's got to be a fun one. And look at this.
A potato. Wow. I thought you were going for the potato.
No, I'm going for the. Should we promote? Should we hand out flyers for the show?
Sure.
Hey, dude.
Some macaroons? Macaroons?
No, what do you look for at a farmer's market?
Macaroons.
Is that really what you want?
Yep. I want fresh, locally grown macaroons.
Look at these butt cups.
Butt cups? Oh yeah, that is a butt cup. She thick.
Good morning.
Hey,
Good morning.
Oh, there's multiple butt cups. You're right.
There are multiple butts. There's some booze.
Look, there's a penis cups.
I'm learning a lot.
Love it. That's so cool.
What's always interesting about, there's macaroons and there's macaroons.
What's the difference?
One's like a coconut, often a Passover dessert. And one is like a French pastry that's really delicate.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but you gotta really get French about the French one so people know what you're talking about. Macaroons.
Macaroons.
No, macaroons. The R is like an L almost.
Oh, I can't do impressions.
No, you can't. Just macaroon.
Macaroon.
No, stop doing an R. Just
macaroon.
When it gets to R, just stop trying, and then act as if you were saying macaroon. So, macaroon.
Macaroon.
There you go. That's
All
French.
right.
That's French.
All right. I love it.
Do you know what makes bourbon bourbon?
Do I know what makes bourbon bourbon?
Yes.
Isn't it like the wood barrels that they're in or something?
It means it is distilled in Louisville, Kentucky specifically.
Oh,
Kentucky specifically.
Okay. I think I knew that, but.
Got some samples left, guys.
Hey, ooh.
Waffle marshmallow treats.
All right.
Like Rice Krispie treats, but with homemade Belgian waffles.
Wow.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Can't have waffles?
What's that? Yeah, gluten-free.
Gotcha.
All right, let's try.
When you said Rice Krispie treats, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you're like, waffles. I was like, I'm out.
1 out of 2 gets to try. You can look with your eyes.
That was really good.
Yeah, I could.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it was good. I was just based off of your face. I could tell. When people ask you, like, what's your favorite city to perform, do you have an answer?
Whoa, when people say, favorite city to perform in, I don't have a favorite city, I don't think. I like, there's a few cities, there's a few venues I wrote down that I never want to perform at again.
Right. That's so much easier to answer.
Yeah, there's especially, like, specific, like, colleges I performed at that didn't know what they were doing. I have, like, a list of schools like that.
Sure.
And how about you?
I did never know how to answer that question because I'm like, well, first of all, most places I'm there for a night and then I'm on the road.
Right. Okay.
And it's like I don't really get I feel like I need a month to get a vibe for a place.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, a lot of places in North Carolina are nice.
Yeah.
You know? It's like,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of good shows in Wisconsin.
Sure. Yeah. Wisconsin's a good comedy
But
town.
really, I'm just going based off of how the show was and how the crowd was.
Exactly.
And that's kind of also just like who showed up that night. It doesn't really have to do with the place necessarily.
Right. You know, I could have the best show in like Des Moines, Iowa, but never know what it's like to be in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah. It's not like I've tried. People will ask me like in Jersey City, like, oh, what's the best place to eat? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I hate when people ask me that too, especially when my wife got a text the other day from a friend. She's like, what's a hot club for a 21-year-old to go to in New York City? My wife's like, how the hell, why would I know that? Why do you think I know that? I was like, well,
they're like, isn't your husband 21?
well, that's funny. You do a lot of performing where you just do like one-nighters on the road.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what makes a good one-nighter on the road?
The venue wants you there.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
Has that happened where they're just like, oh yeah, you guys again?
I was doing this brewery winery tour. It's like, I'd show up sometimes and it was like, I would be like, hey, listen, I need to do some stuff, like you don't have any of the chairs facing the stage. Also, the stage is 30 feet from the audience.
Yeah.
So we need to make it closer. And you could tell like pretty immediately if they were like happy to have you there. And it's like, hey, we're filling your place with brand new customers. This is a thing that you should be happy about.
You're right.
And sometimes they were just like, yeah, no, you can't move the chairs. And we're like, okay, this is gonna be a shitty show.
Wow.
But yeah, you know, like if not every place is set up for comedy, especially, you know, when you're doing like random venues. They have like a loud ice machine or the bathroom's right next to the stage. It's really distracting. And you can do your best to make it the best, but sometimes they won't even work with you and you're like, okay, sucks for the people who are coming, but
yeah. That seems so messed up that they won't move chairs to make it a better show. It doesn't seem too hard.
Yeah, well, and honestly, I'm like, I'm gonna move the chairs, and they're like, no.
Oh, no one touches the chairs.
Yeah, because they, you know, sometimes they're just annoyed that you're doing so. I don't know why they don't want you there.
Yeah. Okay, so the best is when they want you there. The worst is when they don't.
Yeah, I would say that's the most common thread.
Whoa, look at that! Someone's flying a drone.
Yeah.
Woo!
Hope it's not Obama.
Oh God. Do you have a favorite city to perform in, or no? Then.
No, I not only do I not have a favorite city, I don't even know how to answer that question.
Yeah. So the answer
I was hoping
no,
you had a good. Yeah, no, I'm like, it depends on the night. It depends on the people who show up, and I mean, this is night. We're in Baltimore 2 days, so that doesn't happen for me a lot. You know, when I'm doing one-nighters on my own that I'm headlining, that's just like, you know, just how it goes. And then Hofstetter is like, when I'm opening for him, he's like efficient. He's like, we're gonna get the most shows in. We're gonna do shows like 6 days a week, and I'm gonna plan out the route so it like makes sense. And
wow, that seems
he's like, he's like,
boom,
get
boom,
in.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
In and out, baby, in and out.
And you know, it's great. It's like you get to perform so much, and the crowds are great, and they're always full, and it's just awesome. But I would like, you know, I like when I which doesn't happen often now. It's like I get like a weekend at a club or something. Oh, what do you think makes a good situation? Like what makes it? What was the question you asked me about? Like,
what makes a good venue?
Yeah. What makes a good venue?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, someone who understands, like, you got to keep the lights down. You know, you got to kick out the drunk people, the hecklers.
Right.
Good PA system is important. Good light. Like,
Well, I would say sound is, without a doubt, sound is the most important thing.
That's so funny you say that as the wind blows and everyone's gonna be like, what are they saying? I can't understand them.
Sound's the most important thing?
Yeah, sound's important because obviously you have to hear.
Like if I can't see a comedy show, I can still enjoy it.
I hate when
I can only see a comedy show, I can't enjoy it.
A lot of times, and this is something where like just training comes to play, like the wait staff will like full on speak in a loud volume.
Yeah.
And they don't shut up. People must fall in here a lot because they have a lot of life preservers around.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're right by all of the bars.
Well,
so you think at night all these drunk people will just like stumble in or like, let's jump in the water. Especially when it feels like 95 degrees outside.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of ladders to get out. I think that might also be it. Like it's not, like even if you tread, like try to imagine getting out, like you can't climb that.
No, you definitely can't.
I mean, obviously, you're drunk, so you don't realize that there's a ramp right there. But.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Baltimore history?
Yeah.
What do you know about Baltimore?
Nothing.
David Hasselhoff is from here. David Hasselhoff was born July 17th, 1952 in Baltimore, Maryland. He was
so he moved to Germany and then became like a German superstar?
Oh, no, he was one of those Americans that got signed to like a German label and like was super famous in Germany and then like came back and did like TV in the States. So I had another friend of mine, my buddy John Sutherland.
He's a German superstar?
He was in a boy band called B3 with two other guys from New York.
Why do so many boy bands sound like vitamins?
What besides B3?
BTS with riboflavin.
Okay, that's true. Can I use that bit? That's funny.
Sure, yeah.
B2K, is that? Oh, this guy is awesome. Look at this.
Oh, hell yeah. What do you think is powering what? You think the hat's powering the speakers or the bike's powering the hat?
No one knows. No one knows.
I mean, honestly, if you're looking for a clean energy solution, it's somewhere on that guy.
That's true. That is true. He is just exerting clean energy. I will say, okay, so back to the boy band thing. So they were famous in Germany and like Malaysia. And like super famous. Then in New York, no one knew who they were. And it was funny because they didn't, unfortunately, make a ton of money in the boy band. And my buddy Johnny got a job at Abercrombie, and people from Germany would come in to the store and recognize them. They're like, what the fuck are you doing here, dude? You're Johnny from B3, you're working at Abercrombie?
Oh yeah, that's always bizarre. I remember when I was on TV, I was on 13 episodes of Laughs, but I was still working at Trader Joe's.
Oh wow.
And sometimes people come in and recognize me and be like, how's your career going? I'm like, I'm wearing a name tag, that's how it's going.
Yeah, that is true.
A woman came up to me while I was a cashier, which is my least favorite thing to do, and she goes, I saw you on television, so I came to your line.
Oh, that's funny.
Yay!
That's a good example of being a winner and a loser at the same time. The Dimitri Martin joke about being employee of the month. It's like being employee of the month is a good way to be a winner and a loser at the same time. I think that's so funny. It's kind of like what it feels like to be recognized when you're at work, but like. Yeah. But you don't work you're a full-time comic.
Yeah, last 6-7 years.
How was that transition for you? Was it scary to do?
Yeah, I think the first 3 years I kind of was like, I didn't even want to say I'm a full-time comic because I'm like, I am for the next 3 months, right?
Right.
You know, and who knows?
Yeah.
But you know, it's been years now, and I mean, I still always like, I think in our career, there's always like that feeling of like we don't have that security.
Sure. Yeah.
Where it's like, well, yeah, I'm this for now. But who knows? Unless you're in that upper echelon and you're filthy rich, you're like, I could not be a comic. Depending on how my career goes and how my bookings are next year.
Yeah, it's a scary thing sometimes.
Somebody take this into the bay.
What? Is that an art project?
Maybe it's an art. Is it an art thing?
Is that an art project?
I have no idea.
Do those work?
I think probably these just wound up in there and somebody recovered them. It doesn't seem.
That's crazy.
Citibank City Bike, they'll like give you rewards if you return bikes. I wonder if it's the same with those scooters and somebody like really went deep on it.
Oh wow!
Like I gotta become platinum.
I didn't know. So if you see just like a City Bike sitting around, And
I think, at least for a little while, Jared Berenstein was going nuts about it. He would spend like this whole night, he would just go like all around Manhattan returning bikes. And then he was like, so he got like a silver key or something like that. He like earned some crazy achievement.
Wow. That's a good example of being a winner and a loser at the same time. Sorry, dude.
Dude, Dimitri Martin's so good.
So funny. Yeah, he is one of my favorites, and I've done 2 shows with him. And
have you?
Yeah, and both times I was just completely too scared to talk to him. But
yeah.
he talked to me a little bit. And
oh, really?
So this was maybe like 5 years ago. Okay, I did a show with him, but in 2008, I went to the taping of his pilot for his Comedy Central show.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and this is how
important things.
Important things.
Yeah.
And this is how smart he is. I met him. So then I met him like what, in 2018 or something, and I told him, oh, I was at your taping of your special. And then like I was like, yeah, you were talking about my T-shirt. He was like, oh, I remember that.
Oh, really?
And he like told me what shirt I was wearing and like.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah,
was,
I mean,
it was so
have you ever
wild.
watched him write with both of his hands or draw with both of his hands?
I don't know
at the same
how
time?
you can do that.
He's got to be a savant.
Yeah, he's very smart.
So I'm always curious, like, is there something lacking in like social skills? I'm so curious about who he is beyond his work.
Well, I was just scared to talk to him. It wasn't like he was being weird.
But I'm saying he's probably scared to talk to you. That's my guess.
Yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it.
He's like a bear.
Yeah.
He's more scared of you.
Yeah,
than you
that's
are,
probably true. That's probably true. Yeah, people just don't like to talk to me, man. I got weird energy. It's like, we know that conversation is going to end very awkwardly. Let's not talk to the weirdo. Oh man, people will keep looking at us weird. I think doing this. They're not used.
I'm not even noticing it.
Baltimore, you're not used to content creation. What's up?
I'm just so focused on the conversation and engrossed in this captivating interaction that we're having that I don't even notice people up.
I do feel the Adderall now, I gotta say.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
You want to go put this thing down and go organize something?
Let's go sort M&Ms by color. Let's go do it.
That girl's cute.
Which girl's cute?
The one in the red skirt.
Yeah, man. When you get married, man, you won't even see other women.
I don't know. You're looking at a lot of women on my phone. It's weird when you installed Tinder on my phone.
First thing I did when you came, when I saw you.
Can I see your GPS for a second?
Yep. Sorry, man. Notifications on.
But now there's it's harder to be a serial killer. It's harder to be a serial cheater, just because there's like cameras everywhere.
Well, yeah. Not only that, like it's also just not a nice thing to do.
Well,
and
that,
when
of course,
remember when the head of the CIA or whatever got in trouble for cheating? I'm like, okay.
No.
I'm like, well, he did. I'm like, he got caught. I'm like, if this guy can't even pull off cheating, like there's
it's like, whoa,
there's
you subverted like Cuban forces, but you couldn't get away with
the side chick. Come on, man. Like, yeah. You told me yesterday that something that I wanted to ask you a follow up on. You're like, you don't listen to a lot of music.
Yeah, I go in like there'll be like a month period where I'll listen to a ton of music, and then I'll go like 4 months without really very occasionally putting on music.
Dude, I probably go through like 6 songs a day, if not more.
Yeah, I think most people are like that. I think most people like depend on music, and it's always been a weird thing where people are like, oh, like they're just so into music. I love Pandora because I'm like, I don't know a lot of the artists or the song names. I could just be like, okay, I know this one song and that's the vibe, and Pandora will do the rest.
Who is your favorite comedian to watch right now?
My favorite comedian to watch right now?
Right now, yeah. Not like of all time, but favorite comedian to watch right now.
That's hard to say. I'm going to say probably Bargatze.
Nate, I agree with you.
It doesn't feel to me like, when I watch most comedy, I'm breaking it down, I'm deconstructing the jokes,
yeah.
like thinking about the stuff like that. And when I watch Nate, I'm like, I'm just an audience member. And I'm just enjoying what he's saying. There's no structure that I'm like looking for.
That's the thing. Like, I think he's so funny. His jokes are great, but I can't recite a Nate Bargatze joke. Like, I know the Starbucks thing with the milk, no ice, like that kind of like that bit.
Right.
But like, I can't like repeat any of his jokes.
Right.
I don't think there's any like quick one-liners that he does, but it's just the whole cadence, the whole package of him just like, it feels like a stream of consciousness for the most part, which is appealing to me because it just seems like, oh, this guy's just a funny guy. He just opens his mouth and it's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's great. It's truly somebody like just in their own element, uniquely in their own voice, and it's just a pleasure to watch. It's like smooth. It's just smooth.
Jazz, smooth jazz.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's just when you know, he seems like a cool guy. And then some people who seem like a cool guy just aren't nice.
Right.
But he was like just such a he's nicer off stage than he is on stage.
Yeah, like there's some people where I'm like, you find out that they're a monster off stage, and then you're like, I could see that.
Name names, dude. Name some names.
Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
And then, but then like, there's some people where it's like, Nate's somebody like you're like, if you were a monster off stage, I would have so much trouble believing that.
Right.
This is always possible, but it'd be really hard.
Well, Cosby's a great example of someone who really
but I
just
could see that too.
Oh, okay. Well, someone like who's too like. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about Tom Hanks being like a crazy man, like because all his characters are so nice and like loving and. But like I think it's not.
It's different when you're cast as an actor and when you are a stand-up comic. That's like, this is the proper way to do things. You should be clean and you should be a family man, and I talk about that all the time, and I impose that on other comedians and people. That kind of imposition, that's a red flag.
Yeah, and I also need to say that I don't think there's any truth behind these like Tom Hanks allegations of being like a crazy.
Oh no, it's usually just because he's a Democrat.
Just because he's a liberal guy and he plays nice roles and he's who knows?
But what do you think? If we're saying that sometimes when somebody's like doing something real hard, they're going in on it.
Okay.
It's the opposite in reality for them.
Yeah.
What would Nate Bargatze really be? It's like just slightly less chill. Like,
right.
He's right in the middle of just like, I'm just a guy. It's like he'd be like, I'm like right over here.
Right.
If he's just gonna go opposite.
That's true.
Because he's not pushing hard in any which way. He's just like,
true.
I'm here. This has happened. It's
I'm
funny.
just present. I'm just present. That's right. Yeah, it would be fun to see him go dark a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think he will because he's such a nice guy and such a family act, which is really cool too. I think it is cool that like last night there was a family at the show. I thought that was kind of fun.
There was?
Yeah, there was a mom and dad and their son.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice.
Sitting on the left side.
There were so many people there. I was like,
I know. But I thought that was cool, and I was like, that Nate gets a lot of families at his show, so I'm like,
oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'm like the less famous Nate Bargatze, huh? No?
That's exactly.
That's right.
Correct.
Spread it, internet. Ooh, this is nice now.
Yeah, this is good. Let's just walk back and forth.
Let's walk slow.
Yeah.
No, Nate's great. Who else are you watching now that you really like, besides Chris D'Elia?
Jeffrey Curry, actually, I love.
Jeff's great.
There are people where I'm like, I should watch this just to kind of know what's going on in a clip. And then some people I watch because they're my friend and I like them. And then there are people where I'm like, I don't even know Jeff beyond like exchanging like one or two messages over Facebook. And I'm just like, I find your clips so entertaining.
So it's mainly just straight white men you like. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of females in New York right now that are crushing it. Just hard to name. All right. No, there's tons. Dina, Caitlin, Palufo, Rachel Feinstein, Jackie Fabulous, Yamanika.
Yeah, and Jordan
McBride.
Jensen, I've seen a few of her clips, super funny.
Brittany Carney, Jay McBride, Emma Willman, especially. I love
She's
Emma.
great. I love Emma.
I was texting her with her yesterday. I was telling her she got to come to this club we're at.
Did you say Jessica Kirsten? She's killing it.
Okay.
But she's been,
Here's the thing. Jessie Kirsten has been a killer for a long time.
She's just getting
now blowing up, which is crazy.
Yeah.
To think that you can be such a what's the word, like a firecracker comic. You're just killing, and now you're just getting your dues.
And maybe we'll edit this out. But what's interesting though is because she live is it's an energy thing, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think sometimes with comics who have such good energy, it doesn't translate through the screen.
Sure.
And it's so cool that she's found a way to do that. But I think that's a struggle for a lot of comedians who are just like, they're just natural born powerhouse performers. It's the material. Then you just have somebody like Seinfeld who's like, he's a good writer.
Yeah.
And monumentally successful. And you could attribute that not just to his writing, but of other things like his, sitcom and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But still, there's a lot of examples like that where it's like somebody's just a really good writer and they do way better than somebody who's like an an equal or better performer.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't translate to screen, which is how we, get mass media.
Might be the smartest thing I ever said on Talkie Walkie.
Yeah, take it out. No, you don't want to set the vibe here.
That is awesome. Druck went to college. Hey. Did you go to college?
Yeah.
What did you get? Did you get a degree?
Communication.
Wow.
Concentration in television broadcasting.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I didn't want to do anything with it because the more I learned about broadcast journalism, the more I hated it. But then I was like ready to graduate.
Too far in.
Yeah. And so I took a stand-up class and I was like, I like this. I'll just do this.
Oh, tell me about the stand-up class. Where did you take it?
So within my major, the American Comedy Institute, run by Stephen Rosenfeld, who I think Jessica Kirsten might have at some point also gone through that class.
Oh, cool.
But she's somehow tied with it, I think. He teaches it you could take it as an elective in my major in communication at William Patterson. And I took it just to like fill an elective and I just loved it. It was so
Do you remember
exciting.
Like the first joke you ever wrote?
I could tell you the first joke from my first set from that class.
Okay, yeah.
Which was when I was in high school. We had gangs in our high school.
Just stop here. Yeah.
We had gangs in our high school, and we had the Bloods, and they have like a call, which is like Bleh! But my name is Brett, so I just thought it was my Spanish teacher saying my name. Like, Mr. Robles?
Will you do that joke tonight?
Sure.
All right. Insert joke here.
I come from South Orange, New Jersey. My high school, when I was growing up, we had gang members in there. We had the Bloods, and they had like a blood call, which was kind of like, if you're a blood donor, we're going to show my do my best here. It's like, blah! I think there's a couple more, but I can't roll the tongue, so I can only do one. But blah! That's it. Maybe 2 L's in there. But my name is Brett, so I just thought my Spanish teacher was calling my name every time I would walk through the hallways. I'd be like, Mr. Robles? Okay, Marcus, we talked about, we would both tell the first joke we ever wrote. We would tell it on stage tonight and see if it was good, and that was it. And you guys were like, nope. He enjoyed it.
My first joke ever was, and this is why I wanted to stop here, was, man, you ever see a homeless person pushing a shopping cart? Man, homeless people are always shopping.
Now you have to do that one.
Deal. All right, gonna bomb tonight.
A lot of homeless people in New York. I was walking around Baltimore. Do you guys have a lot in this? I don't see a lot here. Yeah, it seems pretty nice. It's good. A lot of them in New York. I saw a homeless person the other day pushing a shopping cart. I'm like, man, homeless people, always shopping. That right there was the first joke I ever wrote. And Brett and I today said, let's try our first jokes we ever wrote and see if they work tonight. And it did not. All right. There were some pity laughs, but I appreciate that.
So I want to show this boat. When we were driving through here, we passed this building that looks like a boat.
See, that's the correct thing. You never said building until we were like past it.
Yeah, I was like, look at the boat. Look at the boat.
I don't see a boat.
Because it looks like a boat. Here, let me show.
From this angle, it definitely does. We were coming from the other angle.
No, we were coming head on, and we were coming from right over there.
It looks more like a boat here.
Okay, but let's.
Also, I was driving. I was looking at the road.
No, you were okay. Says someone who's always on YouTube on their phone as well when you're driving.
Yeah, but I have to make content somehow.
Yeah, I know. You're doing great. No, dude, keep making the content, dude.
I need to do reaction videos.
Dude, oh, well, try. Dude, that could be a funny thing, a funny concept. Reaction videos while driving.
Crashing?
That's really funny. All right, guys, let's watch this video. I'm going down I-95.
I think what he just did was messed up, but I couldn't see because I was looking at the road.
All right, so here's the boat from this view.
It looks less like a boat. I was right.
But
from this angle. If you were just like, look at that boat, look at that boat. I'm looking at this street, I'm looking at this street, I'm looking at this street. And then eventually when we're halfway past, you go, oh, that restaurant looks like a boat. But in your defense, it looked so much like a boat to you that you didn't see it as anything other than a boat. So you wouldn't describe it that way. You're like, look at that boat, that's a boat.
It's a boat. What came first, you think? Do you think the boat was here, then they built a restaurant around it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's the only logical
there's probably a storm.
Sequence of events.
It was probably right here in the harbor. Okay, there's the harbor, and it probably storm just picked it up, transported it, plopped it right there, and they were like,
there was already a chef. It landed around him.
He's like, perfect. So last night at the show, right? This guy had been messaging me that he was like, hey man, are you like 420 friendly? And I was like, just come to the show. I'll say anything. If you message me like, hey, is it cool if I do this and I can come to the show? Yeah, just come to the show. So I was like, yeah, dude, 420, whatever. Be high, just don't smoke in there. Sure.
I actually hate high audiences,
well,
to be honest with you.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I don't love them either, but I want tickets sold.
No, totally. No, I'm just saying, like, it's weird to ask you, are you 420 friendly? It's like, you can do whatever you want before the show. You don't have to ask me permission.
So,
but if you're going to ask my preference, honestly, I enjoy a person who is not high. I find that people are high, they laugh in a weird rhythm. It just takes them a second, and you don't have this cohesive back and forth with the audience because they're a little bit more scattered and they're laughing at different times.
Agreed. And that this proves your point. This whole story does, because I saw him in the front row. He was right in the front, and I could tell he was high. And then he told me he was the guy that messaged me about it. And I said, how high were you? And he said he had a couple joints and he had an E-pill. And I was like, what's an E-pill? And he was like, oh, it's ecstasy. And I was like, oh dang. And then
I don't even know what. Imagine a whole crowd on E. I mean, I don't even know what that line is.
No, it was bad with one person on E, and he was with his mom. And I was like, I hope he didn't rat you out in front of your mom. And she was like, oh no, he's cool. I was like, all right. And then he sat there with his head down.
I've never
for like
done
half my set. I don't do drugs.
But I can't imagine it's a drug you want to do with your family.
No. And then the owner of the club said he was outside after the show on the grass asking for ice. And then I got a message last night that I just saw this morning that was like, hey man, sorry about last night. I'm gonna come again today and try to make up for it. I was like, my guy,
doing
just buy them
2 E-pills.
No, please. Look, I love people who come to the shows, and if you want to take an edible, sure, fine. I don't know if that'll help you or not. I wouldn't do it. I personally just think just come to the show sober, have a good time, maybe drink a little. I don't know, a little high is kind of fun to go to a comedy show, right? A little high.
What do you think it would be like to perform for an audience that was all on the Limitless pill?
Well, isn't that just like Adderall?
Adderall can help in some ways. I don't know if it makes you know how to do kung fu and speak other languages.
They would probably not. I don't think they'd be a good audience. They'd be too focused on fixing my set, fact checking.
Right. Or they know where all your jokes are gonna go.
Yeah, they'd just be ahead of me even.
Yeah.
I don't even know. What is your favorite thing about doing stand-up?
Getting a new joke to work.
Oh my God, it's better than anything.
The best feeling in the world.
Anything. And Mark Norman was telling me this. To him, a new joke feels like currency because it's something that no one can take away from you.
Yep.
You always have it. You can use it to make money. It's that's such a nice feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's like solving a puzzle, getting a joke to work, and the payoff is. It's also it's high stakes too, right? When the joke doesn't work, the entire room, even if no matter how much they loved you up until that point, just for that moment, the entire room is like, you're an asshole. And you, in that silence where the laughter you were expecting isn't there, you're like, I'm an asshole. And that's why when it does hit, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it feels so good when a new joke works. Now your jokes are pretty classic, quick setup punch. I wouldn't say you're a one-liner guy because
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I would say I'm non sequitur, if anything.
And I love that so much. It's my favorite style of comedy. How do you, do you have a writing process that you can go over? How do you write such great jokes so quickly?
There's an old tree where I grew up. And what I'll do is I'll write a topic on it, and I'll fold it into a piece of paper. I will sacrifice a few rodents and put them in there, and I wait a week, and then I go back to the tree, and usually there's just the full joke is written out for me.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
what about you?
Same. I get whatever blows away from your tree is what I grab.
For me, it's I have something will tickle me about an idea. I have to. The hardest thing is noticing when something tickles me.
Yeah.
And being like, okay, write that down.
Yeah.
And then it's a matter of.
So it's that you see something out in the wild, you write it down, and then you go back to it later.
Yeah,
Like something
yeah,
that tickles
exactly.
you, an observation, a thought
Yeah.
pops into your head.
But it's the hardest thing for me is noticing it. I think probably I could write an hour of strong material every day if I were noticing all the thoughts I have that I find funny, but I don't like isolate them as, oh, this is a funny idea, you should write on it. Because there's so much, but it's having to notice it, you know? I think it's really an act of willpower to like look for the funny and observe it and then isolate what's funny about it and recreate it in a way that exaggerates what's funny about it. And it's a constant kind of struggle for me to put myself in that mindset.
Where do you like want to see yourself in 5 years from now? Do you do that? Do you like plan ahead, like
No.
your 5-year plan?
I'm really
or
bad
something?
at that. I think I would just like to be...
Do you know where we're going, by the way?
Yes. I just want to, honestly, I don't really think about my career as much. I want to get my life stuff sorted, and I think my career stuff will just kind of come from there.
Sure.
So I would like to be in a real grounded place where I have a good system of regular, I don't know, just a more structured system for, you know, being a self-employed person.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
What about you?
Dude, nothing.
I want to be an airplane.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brett Druck here on Talkie Walkie, one of my favorite comedians. He's so funny, he's so original. Check him out, Brett Druck on Instagram, @Brett Druck on Facebook. Brett Druck is funny. Well, what's your website?
BrettDruck.com.
BrettDruck.com. Nice, dude.
And let me know if you guys think I should use my middle name, because Brett Druck, I'm really thinking about this a lot recently. Brett Druck is like a karate chop to the ears. It's like really like, it's like, da-da, you know?
Brett Druck.
And people, when I say my name, they're never like, oh, Brett Druck. They're like, what? And then I say Brett Druck, and they're like, okay, Brett Druck. So my middle name is Fisher, and I think it spaces it out correctly. Brett Fisher Druck. You think if I should do that, you let me know.
All right, guys. We did it. Talkie Walkie.
Talkie Walkie.